15 or something? Right. Maybe a bit earlier?
God, no.
Is that too early?
No, that's fine. I've just got to, because I was hoping my husband would be here. That's absolutely fine.
Hello? Hello, hello. Anyone hear me?
Hello, I'm here.
Hello. Hi. Oh, here I am. Hello. Hi, how are you guys?
Fine, thank you.
Good. For some reason, I have the waiting room enabled, which is not normal. Let me just disable that. Wonderful. I can't see anyone. Not a person.
No, I can see you.
Oh, good. That's.
I can see start video. There you are.
There we go. Hello.
Ever so much better when you press the right buttons.
Yes, yes. It's funny how technology works, isn't it?
Right, good week.
Yes, I'm sure it was. I'm having that thing again. I can't remember. Can you even exist? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it's been a lovely week. How's your week been?
Much like that, actually.
Yes, that's it. Oh, we've got loads. We've got a full house today. Look at that.
Round window, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Sheila?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good week.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to the Easter holidays.
You're a teacher, aren't you?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I couldn't think why anyone would. I thought a teacher would.
Yeah.
Around a piece too.
Hi, Stephanie.
Yeah, we've got Dee on this in the street today, and Dee had a business around decluttering.
Hearing talking about D. Hello.
Hi, Keely.
Hi.
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 Okay, looks like have we got Sarah yet? She's not here yet, but I'm sure she will be soon. I'm going to mute you all.
Okay.
And then we are going to begin. It's so nice to see so many people. It's unusual. Okay. So a nice big gulp of tea first. Wonderful. Let's make sure everyone's ready. So make sure you've got a couple of weights, anything 500 grams, and a cushion or block, rolled up towel, something like that. You just want to have those two things handy. Okay, so let's take our parallel stance, roll our shoulders back and completely relax them. Make sure we're engaged through that core and start with our lovely deep Pilates breath. So lovely deep inhale through the nose, filling those lungs up. And on the exhale, release that air out through the mouth. Release those shoulders even more. Another lovely deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling, releasing that air out through the mouth. So think about breathing in your own time, just really using the full capacity of your lungs. If you place your hands on your ribs, you can feel them filling up. So inhaling, feel that expansion in the ribs to the front, side and back. Exhale, releasing all that air out through the mouth. Wonderful. Okay, and think about your height as well. So think about stretching from the top of your head all the way to the soles of your feet. So we're thinking about that length coming through the top of the head and then going down to the feet, and the feet are pushing against the ground. So big toe, little toe and heel. And grow even taller on that next exhale. Lovely stuff. Remember that space between the chin and the chest also. And let's just start mobilizing by just wobbling from side to side, allowing ourselves to lose our balance. Keep on breathing and just be mindful of how that core responds. So remember, the core muscles we're using are our internal abdominal muscles, so our pelvic floor muscles. So you really want to kind of be aware of how these muscles are responding to your shifts in balance and making sure they're staying engaged the whole time. Keep on taking those lovely deep breaths. And remember, you still want that nice big space between the chin and the chest and those shoulders to be completely relaxed as you carry on breathing. Okay, wonderful stuff. Let's just lower those movements, make them smaller and smaller until we've found our central position. And we're just going to start with some lovely gentle balancing. So take those arms out, palms facing the ceiling. We're going to take a lovely deep breath in, make sure we're engaged. And on the exhale, we're just going to lift that left knee. Inhale to lower. So we're going to repeat a number of times, making sure we're using that core strength. So inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Make sure you're not hunching up here. Nice big space, nice elongation. Tall spine as well. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Let's do 4 more on this side. Come to 3 more. Try not to fall over like me. 2 more. Gosh, terrible sound effect. Sorry about that. And your last one. Okay, wonderful. Let's go on to the other side. So we're going to do 15 on that side. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Remember, if your arms are getting tired, you can cross them over your chest. Whatever works for you, as long as those shoulders are relaxed. We're on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 5 more on this side. 2. Whatever that is. Carry on going. Hello, Sarah. I've seen you now. Just muting you. Okay. All right, that's your last one. Okay, give it a bit of a shake out. And we're going to go over to the sides now instead. So again, arms out if you're happy to. If not, just cross those arms over the chest. And we're lifting. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. So think about that space between the chin and the chest. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed. Try and lift it as high as you can while not losing your balance. If you are struggling for balance, just take hold of a wall or a chair or something like that. That might help. Let's do 5 more on this side. 4, 3, 2, and your last one. Wonderful stuff. Let's go on to the other side again. Shake those arms out if you need to. Give them a rest. And repeating on that right hand side. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Try and control that movement. I'm just struggling to. Remember not to let those shoulders hunch up. Keep it all relaxed. We're going to do 5 more. Keep that core engaged. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And your last one. Wonderful. Coming back to center. Let's give that a stretch and a shake off. Just rolling those shoulders back. And let's go straight into our V stretch to open up that chest. Taking a few breaths there. And then releasing that, coming straight into the toy soldier. Okay, so we're just going to focus on the legs for now. Just place your hands on your hips. And all you want to do is lift that left heel And then lift the right heel. So we're just alternating between feet. Keep on breathing, keep those shoulders relaxed. Stuff. Tiny waist as much as you can as well. So make sure you're engaged through the core. And then we're going to add the arms if we're happy to. So remember, it's opposite arm to the heel that's raised. And then swooping those arms, swooshing them forwards and stretching through the fingertips. So you can kind of alternate your breathing with the movements. It doesn't really matter because it's quite a quick exercise, but just make sure you are using your Pilates breath the whole time. Stretching through those shoulders. Okay, let's do 3 more pairs. Two more pairs. And then 1 more on each side. Wonderful stuff. Let's come straight into some rotation. So we're going to just go into the bow and arrow. Make sure those feet are hip width apart. Hands are parallel to one another. So arms are parallel to one another. Hands face one another. Lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, rotating back into that bow and arrow, facing that back hand. Take a lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're moving. Now you want to make sure those hips are pointed forwards the whole time. Don't allow the hips to rotate. You want that rotation to come from the lower back. Inhaling as you reach and stretch. Exhaling as you rotate from that lower back. Remember the space between the chin and the chest the whole time, so keep those shoulders relaxed. Inhale to stretch. Exhale. Move. So keep breathing the whole time. Make sure your core is engaged as well. So each time you inhale, remind yourself to engage through that core. And remember the head as well. So following that arm with the head, we're going to do 2 more pairs. Coming into your last pair. Stretching out there. And then when we're ready, coming back to the center and just roll those arms a little bit. Okay, with the side bending, we're going to just do some simple side bending because we've been doing a lot with our arms already. Don't want to tire them out. So you can take the weights. We're going to take a lovely deep inhale. Engage through that core, tiny, tiny waist. And on the exhale, just allow yourself to bend through the outside, just allowing that weight to pull you down.
We've lost you. Picture, Heidi.
Picture. I have no idea why you've lost my picture. Can anyone see it?
Yeah, I've lost you as well. I can still see you.
Oh,
You're back now.
hello. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
You're back now.
Okay, all right. Just someone give me let me know if it happens again. I have no idea why that would happen, to be honest. So just carrying on with that side bending. So just allowing that weight to kind of pull you towards the side, but think about the length going all the way through the outside of the body. Inhale back to center and exhale as we come back down with control. So not just allowing ourselves to fall down, really controlling that movement the whole time. Inhale, use that core to come back to center. And exhale as you lower. Remember your alignment. Keeping those shoulders low as possible, keeping that head in alignment as well. Making sure those knees are soft. Inhale back to center. Okay, your progression with this one's just a simple side lunge. That's always optional, of course. And then repeating on the other side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lunging and stretching through. Remember, you don't want to be leaning forwards or backwards. You want to stay in that same plane. So if you're facing a wall, you want to stay parallel to that wall. And try and get a little bit more of a stretch each time you come down. We're going to do 2 more on each side, okay? Think about even more length, loosening up those glutes, those lats, anything on the side of the body. Come to a final one on each side. Wonderful stuff. Let's go back to center. Okay, give it a bit of a roll and a jiggle out again. We're just going to place these weights aside. And we're going to come to the backs of our mats to go into our roll downs. So taking our parallel stance, make sure you're taking a lovely deep breath in, tiny waist. And on the exhale, roll those shoulders forwards, release the head and the arms, and allow yourself to articulate as you come down vertebrae by vertebrae. Just stretching as far as you can. Take a lovely deep breath in at the end. And on the exhale, you're coming back up vertebrae by vertebrae. So imagine there's a wall behind you and you are stacking back up against that wall. Roll those shoulders back, lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, repeating that exercise. So remember our form with this one, to make sure that those legs aren't completely locked out, but you want to make sure that they're also not too bent. There's a nice stretch going through the backs of the legs. Thinking about tilting that tailbone first and then following that with the rest of the spine. Inhale, open chest, lengthen through the front of the neck, but don't drop that head back. Repeating as you come down. Making sure those arms and that head are completely relaxed. You're not holding any tension in those shoulders, in the jaw. Lovely deep breath in at the end and repeating. Okay. So just carry on again. You can do this exercise in your own time if you want to hold it a little bit longer. Please do. Try not to go too quickly though. Think about those teachings, control and precision throughout the whole exercise. So really thinking about each tiny bit of movement. Everything is very much intentional. Inhale at the top and exhaling to repeat. Okay, remember each time you want to just get that a little bit closer to the floor, or to get those hands that little bit flatter if you are at the floor. Okay, so after this repetition, we're going to hold it down there. We'll go into our squats. Remember, it's always optional. You don't have to hold the inversion. If you're not comfortable holding it, please just carry on with single roll downs or go onto the mat into a full body stretch. And so we're coming down as far as we're comfortable going. Sorry, I'm just Going forward a bit, making sure that you're not putting any weight on the hands going into that squat. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, squatting down. You want those knees to go directly over the toes, and you want that weight to be on the heels. Inhale, back up. So no matter how deep or shallow your squat is, just make sure as soon as you see your knees try and get in towards one another, that's when you stop and don't go any deeper into the squat. So we want to always make sure our form is correct before improving our range of movement. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, squat. Inhale, straight. So let's do 2 more like this. And your last one. And then on your next exhale, we're going to come up vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll those shoulders back, lovely deep inhale. And we're going to repeat that again. So doing exactly the same thing again. Inhaling as you straighten, exhaling as you squat down, making sure that weight is going over the heels and that those legs are staying parallel to one another. Keep on thinking about your Pilates breaths. You should be able to feel this in your glutes above all else. So in the bottom. So make sure you're engaging those glutes. Be mindful of that. Let's do 3 more of these. Come into 2 more. And your last one like this. Wonderful. Let's crawl down to the mat. We're going to go straight onto all fours, making sure those knees are directly underneath the hips, hands directly underneath the shoulders. We'll just do a couple of cat stretches while we're here. So just round in that back, allowing that tailbone to tuck under. Head is relaxed, shoulder blades are slidden apart from one another, and you're just stretching up towards the ceiling. Take a lovely deep inhale into that stretch. And as we exhale, we're going to lengthen through the core, allowing a slight bend in that back, and lengthen through the neck as well. On your next exhale, going back up into the cat stretch. And lengthening as you come back down into that cow. Wonderful stuff. Okay, let's go back to center. We're going to do some teaser progressions, and we're going to do those lovely pulses which get those different parts of your glutes, max, mid and min. And remember, they do burn, so just take your time and be aware of what your body is telling you. Okay, we'll just start with a gentle teaser using, pointer, just using the legs, a lovely deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to stretch out with that left leg. And we're going to breathe in as we stretch. Exhale to swap to the right leg. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale to swap to left leg. Inhale, stretch. And swap to the right. Inhale, stretch. So remember, thinking about that core, thinking about not tilting that pelvis too much. This is all staying really strong as much as it can. Remember, you've always got the option to load onto your fists or your forearms like this if you are uncomfortable at any point. Okay, so we're just focusing on the legs today, so I'm not going to add the arms, but we are going to add the next progression. Remember, the progressions are always optional. So we're going to point up and back to center, and then swapping to the other leg, pointing up. Take a deep breath in, exhale as you move. Inhale, point and stretch. So think about that toe going towards the ceilings as much as you can. You don't want to completely collapse that back in, so it's none of that. Try and keep that core strong as well. So if your core is engaged, that means there shouldn't be too much of a curve in the spine because those are working in opposition to one another. Your lower back and your core. Okay, let's do a few more of those. One more on each side, and then we'll go into the pulses. So when you come into these pulses, you want to be going just little movements here, and we're going to count down from 20, okay? So we've got 20, 19, just poke that toe to the ceiling, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, keep that core engaged, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. Deep inhale, we're going to go straight into the other leg. So again, pointing up towards the ceiling as much as you can. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. This time we're going to repeat a similar kind of exercise, but instead of going up, we're going out to the side and back to center. So again, we're just going to breathe with the stretch for the sake of making sure I don't confuse you guys too much. So breathe when you stretch. Sorry, breathe in when you stretch and exhale as you move. You should be breathing the whole time. So inhale as you stretch. Exhale as you move. Inhale as you stretch. Keeping that core strong. Okay, let's do 2 more on each side, and then we'll go into those pulses with these as well. And then we'll be able to stretch it off. I can tell already it's going to burn. Wonderful. Come to your last repetition on that side. Back to center. Take a lovely deep inhale. And we're going to come up, pulsing for 20. So just rocking that knee slightly. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep that chin relaxed. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing that gently and with control. This is your last one of those pulses. Lovely deep inhale, and on the exhale, coming up to the other side and pulsing for 20, 19, 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful stuff. Let's go straight into a shell stretch to release those glutes, which, if you're anything like me, are really burning right now. So lovely length through those arms, and take a few breaths there to release. Okay, crawling both arms over to the left-hand side and stretching into that. Crawling it over to the other side. And again, that lovely length around the outside of the body, so under the shoulders. You're getting your tricep, oblique, intercostal muscles as well. Great stuff. Okay, gently and with control in our own time, we're going to come over onto our backs. Remember, you do have the option of placing a cushion under your head. You want to have your weights handy, so just place them by where your hips are. And yeah, if you'd like to place a cushion under your head for support, please feel free, especially if you are kind of looking up rather than straight ahead of you. And we want our arms to be relaxed either side with shoulders tucked in and relaxed underneath our back. Legs are parallel to one another. There's a nice space between the bottom and the heels. We're not too scrunched up. And you've got that lovely space between the chin and the chest. So just doing some head stretches. So looking towards the left, rolling that neck down to the chest and then to the right, looking up above you and then back to the left, circling in the opposite direction. So just another way to visualize is drawing big circles on the ceiling with your nose, as big as you can, without moving any other part of the body. Wonderful. So let's just make those circles smaller and smaller until we've found our central position. We can directly above us. Wonderful stuff. Now to set neutral, we're going to take a deep inhale and engage through that pelvic floor, close that gap between the lower back and the mat and imprint onto the mat. And on the exhale, just release that, tilting that pelvis forwards. Inhale, curling that pelvis up slightly as you close that gap between the lower back and the mat. And exhale to release. So just relaxing those arms either side. You're going to start with really big movements. So really thinking about those pelvic floor muscles, identifying which ones you're using. Remember the ones that settle the bladder and the bowel. Keep on breathing the whole time. Inhale to close. Exhale to open. So just make that movement smaller and smaller. And you want to find that neutral central position. There's still a small gap between the lower back and the mat when you're in neutral. And you've pulled in at least 30%. And so we're going to take these weights in our hands. We're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, float those arms up and release those shoulders. Now with these arm exercises, you have the choices to have your legs like they are already, or you can place them in tabletop. So it's up to you. Tabletop obviously is a little bit more challenging because you've got less in contact with the floor. We're just going to start with some shoulder drops. So just release those shoulders completely, and on the exhale, pointing towards the ceiling with those hands. Inhale, release shoulder. And exhale, stretch up towards the ceiling. Inhale, release those shoulders. Make sure those legs are staying parallel to one another. Inhale to release. And exhale, pointing up to the ceiling, keeping that core engaged. Remember, all these arm movements, you should be using that core strength to do them. Great stuff. Let's do 3 more of those. If you'd like to add a little lift of the head, neck, and upper back, you can, but make sure that your head isn't lolling back. You want to be kind of head coming towards those arms rather than directly up. Inhale, wonderful, back to center. We're going to get into seesaw arms. So lower that right arm towards the wall above the head, lowering that left arm down towards the hips, hovering above the mat the whole time. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to swap. Inhale and stretch. Exhale and swap. Keeping that tummy as tiny as possible. Remember, you're engaging those pelvic core muscles, pelvic floor muscles, and you're using them to enable you to do that movement. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, swap. Keep that core engaged. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, swap. So thinking about tiny, tiny waist, really putting in that belly button. Wonderful stuff. Let's do 1 more on each side of these. Great. Coming back to center. We're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to lower both arms above the head so that they're coming down by the ears. We want to make sure that we're not raising that lower back at all, and don't relax them onto the mat if you can reach. Take a lovely deep breath in, and on the exhale, stretching up and over into a crunch. Let's inhale there, remembering that space between the chin and the chest, and exhale as we come back down to the mat. Inhale, stretch. Exhale to move. Keeping that waist as tiny as possible. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, coming back down. Inhale, stretch. Remember again, legs can be either in tabletop or they can be down on the mat like this, whatever works best for you. Keep breathing. Remember the space between the chin and the chest. This is one of those exercises where it is really easy to squeeze that chin in, and we don't want to be doing that. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale as you move. Tiny waist the whole time. Your eye line will be kind of looking down towards that waist when you come up. So you want to remind yourself to make it as small as possible. Let's do 3 more of these crunches. Try and get a little bit further up each time you come up. Come into 2 more. Inhale. And come into your last one. Wonderful. Okay, gently and with control, we're going to release those weights to the side and then lower those legs down one at a time if you have them in tabletop. Beautiful. Okay, let's go into our shoulder bridge and then I'll give us a little bit of a release for that core. So inhale, rolling that pelvis forwards, closing that gap between the lower back and the mat. Exhale as you come up, vertebrae by vertebrae onto the shoulders, glutes are engaged, and you're pushing through those hips towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. Exhale as you roll yourself back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. And coming back down to the mat. Inhale, again, rolling yourself up. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, come in. And repeating again, lovely space between the chin and the chest. Wonderful stuff. Okay, let's just add a simple progression by, if you choose the progression, remember you don't have to, you're just going to lift those arms up by the ears again. Again, don't relax them completely on the mat. And we're just going to carry on like that. Just means we have slightly less support rather than having those arms still on the mat. We got them lifted. Remember, inhale at the end, exhale as you move. Maintain that lovely position. Tiny waist, pushing up through those hips towards the ceiling. All right, let's do 3 more shoulder bridges. Two more. And the last one. Vertebrae by vertebrae, coming back down onto the mat. Wonderful stuff. And hug those knees into the chest. Starting with some clockwise circles there. And anti-clockwise circles. And then just pulling in wherever you're feeling that tension and roll those ankles, rotating and mobilizing them. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of side leg series, but we're probably going to finish back on our backs as well if we've got time, but just for the sake of moving around a little bit, let's go onto our sides. So bottom, shoulder and elbow all want to be lined up against the back of the mat. Nice straight line there, popping that head up on that hand. Legs about a 45-degree angle in front. Remember, you do have the option of taking a cushion and placing it between your arm and your ear, so you're really relaxing like that instead. So it's up to you, whatever works for you. Top arm is in front of that core, but that is purely to remind you to engage. You're not using that at all. So you're not putting any pressure on that hand. And we're going to take a lovely deep inhale. Let's float that top leg up and point it. And on the exhale, flex and lower. Really think about engaging those adductors there, so those muscles between the legs. Inhale as you float up. Exhale, flex. Really think about resisting. So imagine there's something between those knees and you're really squishing and pushing it down. Inhale, floating up. You can remove that top arm if you are confident that you can balance without toppling over at all. Inhale, float up. Each time, try and imagine that to be even more challenging, pushing that leg through goo. Inhale, float up. Exhale, engage. And again, let's do 2 more on this side. Come to your last one. Wonderful. Let's just do some little bounces. So we're only going to lift up to hip height. So we're going to do 20 heel taps, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful stuff. Bending those knees. We're going to do opening and closing with the knees. So inhale as you open, exhale as you close. So trying to come up at a right angle to the mat if you can, or just as much as you can open those knees. Exhale, close. So the other option is to lift that leg. So the heel is about hip height as well. Exhale, close. And remember, inhale, floating up as you open. And as you close, really imagine you were pushing down through that goo. Inhale, open. Nice space between the chin and the chest. Make sure you're not putting any pressure on that front hand. Exhale, close. Let's do 4 more of those, keeping that top shoulder relaxed. 3 more. 2 more. Push down. And your last and final one. Wonderful stuff. We're going to swap right over onto the other side. So swapping straight over. And again, making sure you are lined up against the back of the mat with those legs at about a 45-degree angle in front of you. Top hand is in front of the core if you choose. Let's inhale and point as we lift that top leg. Exhale, flex, resist as you lower. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and lower. So you can also think about how high you're lifting that leg, as long as you're not compensating by lifting the bottom hip at all. Just try and go as high as you can. Just stretch out those adductors as well. And then tension them as you close. Inhale, lift. Exhale and lower, resist down. 3 more of these. Two more. Keep that top shoulder relaxed. Your last one. And straight into your little bounces, hip height, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. Let's bend those knees. And we're going to repeat. Inhale, opening those legs. And exhale, resisting as you close the knees back together. Remember, you've got the option of having that top leg lifted. Exhale to close. And inhale to open. And exhale, closing. Inhale, open. Remember that core the whole time. That should be doing part of the work. Always should. Let's do 4 more of these. Come into 3 more. Now 2 more. Come into your last repetition. Great stuff. Okay, we gently and with control going to lift ourselves to a seated position. And let's just go into a few repetitions of the song, because you do know I love this one, before we go back onto our backs. Okay, so lovely deep inhale, stretching up, make sure those feet are flexed, hips anchored to the floor. And on the exhale, stretching down with the left arm towards that right foot. Inhale back to center. Exhale, stretching down with the right arm towards the left foot. Inhale back to center. If you're only coming as far as the calf, that's absolutely fine. Think about that length from each arm. So stretching through the fingertips when you lower. And let's make it more dynamic. So pulse, pulse, inhale, center. Pulse, pulse, inhale, center. Inhale, center. Soar, soar. Keep those feet flexed and keep those hips anchored to the floor. Tiny waist. We're going to do 3 more on each side. Come into 2 more on each side. Let's do 1 more on each side. Wonderful stuff. Legs together, flex those feet, and a lovely spine stretch forwards. Just lowering yourself, making sure that head is completely relaxed, as is the back. Trying to keep those feet flexed as you can to intensify that stretch through the calves. Take a few deep breaths there. Think about that length through the back of the head. If you completely relax it, you can feel it almost getting longer. You feel that stretch intensifying. Beautiful. Each time you exhale, try and get a bit further into that stretch if you can. Okay, wonderful stuff. Sadly, we don't have enough time to do our exercises on our back, so we're just going to carry on with the warm-up. So coming into a neck stretch, just lowering your neck to the right side and then gently pulling on it with that hand. Again, you can kind of adjust, hold it wherever you feel works for you. You can kind of stretch against it with the opposite arm as well, so placing the arm slightly behind you to add that length. Taking some lovely deep breaths. And again, just adjusting to feel that stretch intensifying. That added pressure of the hand just makes it that little bit stronger. And when you're ready, swap into the other side as well. So kind of targeting the trapeze here, as well as the bottom of the head. I don't know my body parts. The top of the neck, so the bottom of the back of the head as well. Great stuff. Okay, let's gently lower ourselves down into the mat. Remember, if you want, you can place a cushion underneath the head. We're going to go into the figure 4 stretch. So just folding that ankle over the opposite knee. That might be enough of a stretch on its own. If it is not, we're just going to reach between the legs and then round the outside of that one. And then pulling that in gently and with control. Starting with clockwise circles there. Really lovely, slow, gentle movements. Just stretch up and feel it through the back of the leg, through the glutes as well, piriformis as well. Even in those adductors, I think. Okay, going anti-clockwise with that circle, so just change your direction with that circle. Remember those lovely deep Pilates breaths. Let's pull in wherever you're feeling that tension. We're just going to hold it for a few breaths. And we're going to rotate those ankles as well. Beautiful. Let's swap sides. And repeat on the other side. So clockwise circles first. And then some anti-clockwise circles. Again, gentle circles, slow. Targeting those areas of tension. And just pulling in again. Rotating those ankles. And to move that stretch to target different areas of tension. Whatever works for you. Beautiful stuff. Okay, gently we're going to release that. And we're going to go into that butterfly stretch, allowing each knee to drop to either side, stretching through those adductors, through the groin, and opening the chest as well by stretching each arm away from one another. And we're going to hold that. So we're going to relax there, closing the eyes and thinking about that breathing. So deep inhales through the nose, filling those lungs up, front, side and back, so feel them expand. And exhale, release all that air out through the mouth. When you take another deep inhale, think about it going further than the lungs, so really directing that breath all the way to the fingertips. Think about that length through the arms. Exhale, deflating. This time, inhale and send that breath all the way to the tips of the toes. As you put pressure on the soles of the feet towards one another. Exhale, release and sink lower into that stretch. Inhaling. Exhale to release. Really slowing that breath down. Inhale, sending that breath into that stretch again. Exhale, release and relax even more into the mat. Okay, I'm going to take a couple more breaths there. And after this last deep breath in, we're gently and with control going to start coming back up to a standing position. Here we have fallen asleep. Oh, focus, Heidi. Okay. Coming back into your parallel stance. We're going to do some arms. Inhaling, stretching up towards the ceiling. Onto the toes. Exhale. Back onto the flat feet, pushing towards the ground with your feet. Inhale, open and stretch. Exhale, release. One more. Leave those arms up there as you lower the feet down. We're going to go into our last roll down, releasing the arm and the head as we articulate the spine, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. As deep as you can into that stretch, holding that for a few breaths. Okay, take your last deep inhale. And on the exhale, tilting that tailbone, following that with the rest of the spine. Let's roll those shoulders backwards and relax. Give yourself a bit of a shake out if you feel you need it. And we are all finished. So thank you very much, every lovely one of you, for attending.
Right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, Heidi. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.